You're sitting on the edge of your bed, phone in your hand, no messages, no calls, just that dull weight in your chest and the echo of a voice that once said, "I love you," right before she pulled the rug out from under you. You replay the fights, the silence, the way she made you feel like the problem, even when you were the one bleeding. And deep down, a question hits you hard. When the hell did I stop being me just to keep her? Brother, this isn't heartbreak. This is manipulation in a dress that smiled when it cut you. Wake up line. Real love doesn't confuse you. It grounds you. And anything else is just control dressed up as care. This one's for the man sitting in the wreckage of a relationship, wondering how the hell he lost himself in the name of love. If you've been lied to, blamed, emotionally twisted, until you couldn't tell which way was up, this is your moment. In this video, I'm breaking down the quiet tactics of emotional manipulation, the sweet-sounding lies, the patterns that break you down without raising a voice, and how to rebuild yourself with unshakable Stoic clarity. Drop a comment below. I protect my peace. No one plays me twice, because the next time you'll see it coming and you'll stand your damn ground. Number 1, the compliment trap. If her praise feels like a leash, it is. There's a moment that sticks with me, burned into the back of my mind like a scar you don't talk about at barbecues. I remember standing in her kitchen, holding a goddamn bouquet I picked up on my lunch break. She looked at it, smiled, and said, "See, this is why I love you." You listen, man, that hit deep. Felt good. Like I finally did something right, like maybe I was getting closer to being enough. But I didn't realize that I love you wasn't for me. It was for the version of me that did what she wanted. That smile, it wasn't unconditional. It was approval for obedience. And that's how it starts, brother. Subtle, sweet, strategic, compliments that feel like sugar, but act like chains. You start chasing them, bending, adjusting, compromising in ways that feel small, until you wake up and you're not even sure who the hell you are anymore. Because every time you get praised, you feel seen, validated, like you've got worth. And when that praise disappears, you panic, you go back into the lab, trying to figure out the formula to earn it again. That's not love, that's conditioning. You think you're building a relationship, but what you're building is a prison, and you're handing her the blueprint. And here's the thing most men never hear. Praise is cheap. Anybody can give it, and anybody can take it away. You can't anchor your self-worth to someone else's applause, especially when that applause only comes when you perform. What you need is virtue. Virtue doesn't bend, doesn't sell itself cheap for affection. Virtue is principle, not performance. A Stoic man doesn't live for praise. He lives by values, justice, courage, discipline, integrity. You bring flowers because it's who you are, not because you're trying to earn a pat on the head. You say, "I love you," not because you're hoping for a response, but because it's real. You don't let yourself be rewired by soft hands and sweet words, because the second you do, you become something less than a man. You become a pet. Let me tell you something brutal and true. She might say you're amazing when you give in, but the moment you stop playing the game, the love turns cold. That's not love. That's control wearing a smile. And you don't need that shit. You need clarity. You need boundaries. You need to remember who the hell you are before she showed up. So next time someone gives you a compliment, pause. Ask yourself, is this based on who I am or what I did for them? Because if praise becomes a drug, she'll become your dealer. And that leash, it'll tighten, inch by inch, live by virtue, not validation. Because a man who needs approval is a man already owned. Number 2, silent sabotage. If her silence feels louder than words, it's strategic. You don't notice it the first time. It starts small, subtle, like a breeze before the storm. You say something that doesn't sit right with her. Maybe you set a boundary. Maybe you finally speak up for yourself after biting your tongue one too many times, and then it happens. She goes quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, the kind that weighs down the room, the kind that wraps around your chest and makes you question everything you just said. She doesn't argue. She doesn't get emotional. She just withdraws. Stops texting back, starts moving colder, stops laughing at your jokes, starts sleeping turned away from you, and you're sitting there wondering, did I go too far? Maybe I shouldn't have said it like that. Shit, did I just ruin everything? That's how the sabotage works. Not with a fight, not with fists, but with silence. Strategic, surgical. Silent punishment for standing your ground. You feel the distance and you panic. You start chasing again, apologizing, softening, just trying to get back to the way things were before you dared to have a spine. That's the trap. She doesn't have to yell. She doesn't have to insult. She just makes you feel like the bad guy without ever saying a word. But let me tell you something, brother. Silence can be a weapon, and not every storm makes noise. When a man sets a boundary and gets punished with coldness, that's not love, that's manipulation. A relationship worth keeping doesn't crumble because you asked for respect. It doesn't shrink because you wanted peace. It doesn't punish you for choosing self-worth over people-pleasing. You start to realize it's not about the silent treatment. It's about control. It's about turning your own strength against you, making you feel guilty for protecting your peace, rewiring you to fear doing what's right for yourself. Because of the emotional cost, and if you're not careful, you'll start to shrink, not all at once, but inch by inch. You'll silence yourself just to avoid her silence. That's not how a man lives. A Stoic doesn't bend to keep peace that costs him his soul. He doesn't fold under quiet pressure. He doesn't let someone's discomfort become his responsibility. You can be kind, you can be loving, but you must be firm. If someone pulls away every time you assert a boundary, they were never with you in the first place. They were with the version of you that was easier to control. So the next time the silence comes, don't chase, don't beg, don't panic. Stand still, breathe, let the silence echo, and don't move. Because a man who can sit in someone else's discomfort without losing himself, that's a man who can't be broken. Remember this. Your peace is not up for negotiation, and any silence that punishes your truth is a silence you learn to walk through, not run from. Number 3, gaslight and guilt combo. You're too sensitive is the anthem of emotional snipers. It always starts with something small, something that feels off, but you're not sure if it's real or just in your head. Maybe she said something slick in front of your friends. A jab, a disrespect. You called it out, calm, direct, and she laughed, rolled her eyes. God, you're so sensitive. Suddenly, you're not the one with a valid point. You're the one who can't take a joke. She didn't apologize. She didn't even pause. She flipped it, twisted it, turned your pain into the punchline, and now you're the one wondering if you overreacted. That's gaslighting, wrapped in charm, delivered with a smile. And it's deadly, because it doesn't just dismiss your feelings, it reprograms your reality. You start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Maybe it wasn't that deep. Maybe it's my fault. That's the guilt creeping in, and once it sets up camp inside you, it grows. Fast. Now every time you feel disrespected, you hesitate. You don't speak up. You downplay it. You keep the peace while setting yourself on fire to do it. And every time she crosses the line and then convinces you that you're the one who made it a problem, she wins not just the argument, but a piece of your identity. You. See? This is the combo move. Gaslight you till you doubt yourself. Guilt you till you apologize for bleeding, and you think you're being the bigger man. You think you're being mature, stoic even. But you're not being stoic. You're being played. Stoicism isn't silence. It's not swallowing shit to keep her happy. It's clarity. It's knowing yourself so damn well that no one, no matter how charming, how beautiful, how in love they say they are, can make you doubt your own reality. A stoic man owns his emotions. He doesn't let them run wild, sure, but he also doesn't bury them alive. If something hurts, it hurts. If a line gets crossed, it got crossed. You don't need her permission to feel something. And if someone tries to weaponize your sensitivity, tries to make you ashamed of having a soul, that's not love. That's emotional warfare. You weren't made to live inside someone else's narrative. You were made to know yourself, to hold that line, no matter what emotional tricks get thrown at you. Because once you anchor your truth in your own chest, once you stop handing out permission slips for your emotions, no one can confuse you. No one can guilt trip you into silence. So the next time she says, "You're overreacting," don't fold. Don't explain yourself into smallness. Don't apologize for bleeding when someone else held the knife. Stand up, look her in the eye, and say, "This matters to me." That's enough, because a man who knows his truth can't be gaslit, and a man who stands in his truth can't be guilted into betrayal. Number 4, emotional yo-yoing. Hot today, cold tomorrow. That's not love, it's leverage. There's a certain kind of chaos that doesn't look like chaos at first. It looks like passion, intensity, fire. She pulls you in hard, makes you feel like the only man alive. The way she looks at you, like she sees you, really sees you, and just when you start to feel safe, just when you let your guard down, she pulls away, goes cold. Short texts, long silences, eyes that don't hold yours the same way. You try to fix it. Try to figure out what you did wrong. You think it's something you said or didn't say, something you missed. So you chase, apologize, overcorrect, try to earn your way back to that high. And when you do, she warms up again, laughs like nothing happened, touches your arm, says your name like it means something again. And you breathe relieved, but that's the trick, brother. It feels like love because it hits your nervous system like a drug. That high, that rush, that sense of being chosen, followed by the withdrawal when it's gone. That's not love, that's manipulation. She gives just enough to keep you hooked, never enough to feel grounded, enough to get you addicted, but not enough to be at peace. It's not an accident. It's a cycle. The good moments get shorter, the cold stretches longer, and you start to spend more time trying to get back to the beginning than actually living in the present. That's what emotional yo-yoing does. It keeps you working for something that should have been given freely. It turns connection into a competition you never signed up for. And here's what no one tells you. When you're deep in it, real love doesn't play games with your mind. Real love doesn't feel like withdrawal when it steps out of the room. Real love is consistent. It doesn't mean perfect. Doesn't mean every day's a honeymoon, but it means steady, secure, solid. The Stoics taught that peace is found in what you can control. That includes the energy you allow into your life. If someone's affection turns on and off, like a light switch, and you're left fumbling in the dark half the time, that's not your person, that's your lesson. You've got to learn to walk away from chaos, even if it once felt like love, even if the highs were the best you've ever felt. Because a man who's constantly trying to win back affection is a man who forgot that love. Real love doesn't need to be earned every day. It's shown, it's offered, and it doesn't vanish just because you finally stood still. So here's your anchor. Choose peace over passion, over potential, over the fantasy of what it could be again. Because the real test isn't whether she comes back after pulling away. It's whether you stay grounded while she does. A man at peace can't be played, and a love that vanishes the moment you need it was never real to begin with. Number 5, isolation by affection. You don't need them, you've got me is not sweet, it's sabotage. It starts out soft, always does. Not with rules, not with threats, with whispers, with smiles, with moments that feel like love. You're lying there, wrapped up in her. She looks at you and says, "I love how you don't need anyone but me." And man, it hits you. Feels intimate, deep, like a bond forged in fire. But look, again, real close, because what feels like a compliment might just be a collar. She doesn't ask you to cut people off. She doesn't have to. She just drops little hints, little digs. Why do you still talk to your ex-best friend? He never had your back. You're always running to your mom. Don't you think that's a little immature? I don't trust your boys. They don't like me. And little by little, you retreat, you cancel plans, ignore texts, start spending more time with her and only her because you don't want to rock the boat. You think you're being loyal, but what you're really doing is shrinking. You stop checking in with your people. You stop venting to the ones who know you best. You start to feel like she is the only one who gets you. And when things start to go sideways, you've got no one left to call, because the bridge is burned, or worse, you burned it yourself trying to prove something. That's how it works. She isolates you with love, not control, not cruelty, but affection. And you confuse that isolation for intimacy. But here's the Stoic truth. Real love adds to your life. It expands your world. It strengthens your circle, doesn't shrink it. You're not meant to be someone's only lifeline, and no one's supposed to be yours. A man who forgets that, who trades his tribe for temporary closeness, is a man one argument away from being completely alone. You need your people. You need your brothers, your mentors, your family, the ones who'll pull your ass out of a fire when it all goes up in smoke. Because when love turns cold, you'll need someone to remind you who the hell you are. The Stoics taught that friendship, loyalty, connection, those aren't weaknesses, they're pillars. They anchor a man, keep him sane, solid, so if her love demands distance from the people who built you, that's not love. That's a slow suffocation. Check yourself. Are you closer to your circle or further? Are you more grounded or more dependent? Are you still you, or just a version of you that fits inside her world? You don't owe anyone isolation. You Don't need to abandon your roots to prove you're devoted, because devotion without freedom isn't love. It's a sentence. So next time someone tries to convince you that you don't need the people who've stood by you the longest, you look them in the eye and say, any love that cost me my tribe isn't love worth keeping. Number 6, blame transfer 101. If every fight ends with you apologizing, you're not in a relationship, you're in court. There's a look you get used to after a while, the crossed arms, the silent treatment, the sigh that says you disappointed her again. You're standing there, mentally rewinding everything you said and trying to find the one sentence, the one word that set her off. Because every argument, every disagreement somehow ends with you in the hot seat. Doesn't matter what it was. She blew up at a small thing. You were too cold. She insulted your friend. You were too defensive. She forgot something important. You were too sensitive. But she never owns it, never takes responsibility, and yet you end up apologizing again because she's upset. And you're the good guy, right? The reasonable one. The one who doesn't want to escalate it, who wants peace. So, you say sorry, you fix it, you carry the emotional burden she refuses to hold, and after a while, it becomes automatic. You stop checking whether you should apologize, you just assume you were wrong, because it's easier. That's how it works. You start carrying her guilt like it's your birthright. Her wounds become your mission. Her mistakes become your mess to clean. That's not a relationship. That's emotional servitude. It's subtle, but lethal, because it turns a partnership into a courtroom where she's the judge, the jury, and you're the guy praying for a plea deal. Now here's the Stoic truth that hits like a hammer. You are not responsible for healing wounds you didn't cause. You are not the villain in every conflict just because you want resolution. Justice, real justice, is part of the Stoic code. It means seeing things clearly. It means holding both your actions and hers to the light, not exaggerating your flaws and erasing hers, not taking all the heat to keep things from boiling over, because peace without truth isn't peace. It's submission. A Stoic man owns his role. No more, no less. If you mess up, stand tall, speak clear, make it right. But if she messes up, and somehow you still end up bleeding, that's not on you. That's not love, man. That's emotional warfare with a lipstick grin. And here's what changes everything. You stop apologizing just to avoid discomfort. You start standing on truth, not eggshells. You stop asking, how can I fix this? And start asking, is this mine to fix? Because sometimes the strongest thing a man can do is hand back what never belonged to him. So next time she twists it, makes her storm your responsibility, you hold the line, you keep your calm. And you say, I'll carry my truth, but I won't carry your shadows. Brother, manipulation doesn't show up with a sword. It shows up soft, smiling, wrapped in silk words and wounded eyes. It makes you question yourself, doubt your gut. And that's the real danger. Not the person, but the way you start to betray your own damn instincts trying to keep them happy. That ends today. You've seen the patterns now. The compliment that controls, the silence that punishes, the guilt that gaslights, the chaos that hooks, the love that isolates, and the blame that breaks your back. And here's what you need to understand. Every single tactic only works when you forget your power. You are not lost. You are not weak. You are not the villain in your own life. You are a man, a grounded, clear, deliberate force. And once you reclaim your compass, your Stoic center, no one gets to steer you off course again. This isn't about bitterness, this is about boundaries. It's about drawing a clean, sharp line between who you were when you were confused and who you become now that you see clearly. So stand in it, the strength, the clarity, the self-respect that doesn't rise and fall with someone else's moods. And never forget, your peace is sacred. Your mind is your weapon. Your discipline is your defense. Comment below and make it real. I stand grounded. I see through the smoke. Because from this day forward, you don't chase love. You embody it, you protect it, and you never again let someone twist it into a tool to control you. You were never made to be kept. You were made to be free.